what I want to focus on are a couple of email metrics that you should be paying attention to, and not just looking at the numbers, but really how do you build an action plan to improve those numbers. The first is your open rate. As a start, you want to make sure that your open rate is better than your open rate was last month. That's a good starting point. Next, you really want to start looking at some industry standards. If you've got an email list, no matter how big it is, and only 10% of the people on your email list are opening it, you got to ask yourself, does anybody care? Am I sending information that they want? And odds are a 10% open rate is telling you they don't. What's a good open rate? 20, 25, 30% is awesome. Why? It's very rare that you're going to have 100% of your list open in email. People are busy. There's a lot of stuff in their inbox. So shooting for that 20 to 25% is a good starting point. Now, how do you improve an open rate? Well, number one, write better subject lines. Be more interesting in the subject line. Number two, try personalizing. Most of the email tools out there will now let you add somebody's first name, so it doesn't just say Mary, or it doesn't just say, here's today's tip. It says, Mary, here's today's tip. Next, try the resend. One of the things that we do with a lot of our emails is we send them out, and then 4 or 5 days later, we resend them, but only to the people who didn't open the first time. We've tested this across a wide range of our customers, and what we've seen is that we typically pick up about 50% as many people on the resend. So if 500 open first round, another 250 are going to open on the resend. So definitely thinking about playing with a resend to get more people involved in your email and raise those open rates. That's the first thing. The second thing is that over time, you have to deliver on the promise that you made when someone signs up for your newsletter. So if your content wasn't good last month, it's going to hurt your open rate this month. So you've got a requirement to not just write great headlines, but great content. The second statistic you need to pay attention to is the click rate. And this tells you open rate is how committed is your audience to the content, how well did you do at getting their interest, and then the click-through is how well did you do at delivering on what you promised in the headline. The click-through is somebody opens the email and then they push a button and jump to your content on your website, take the next action, watch a video, download a report, whatever it is you want them to do. And if you're just sending an email to say hello and there's no call to action, well, that's a letter, but it's not an email campaign. An email campaign should always drive people to take some kind of action, next step. And your click-through rates are an indication of how well you matched. What's a good click-through rate? Again, it's going to vary by client. It's going to vary by the kind of content you're sending. But if you're in the 8 to 10% click-through rate on your email campaigns, you're doing well. If you're in the 1 to 2%, you need to work on it. You may need to try switching from links to buttons. You may want to actually have fewer links so you don't overwhelm people. Give them one thing they're supposed to do. And pay attention to the kind of things people click on and don't click on. If people are opening your emails and they're not clicking, you're probably not delivering on your promise. Or if you have a low open rate, but anybody who opens clicks, now you've got a really concentrated list and you've got a group of people who are really interested, and you may want to consider breaking those people out and sending them a separate communication. The third statistic that you really should pay attention to is your bounce rate. And this is a measure of how good your list is. The longer you have a list, We've been sending emails since 2002. I've got people on my list who've been opening my emails since 2002. But I also have a lot of people who have changed jobs, changed their emails, moved on. And so I routinely clean up my list. You should always look at the bounces. Anybody that comes back as suspended, that means that that account isn't good anymore. Maybe someone has changed jobs or just gotten rid of an email list. That's always a good time to go, oh, that email isn't good. Maybe I should find out, do they have a new job? Is there someone else in their job? Non-existent bounces are usually typos. I can't tell you how many people have typed in their email address when they're filling out a form, and I see things like Gale instead of Gmail or .co instead of .com. Yes, I know there's a .co, but nobody really uses it. So when an email bounces as non-existent, then go in and really look at it. And if you can figure out if it's a typo, just adjust it and then resend. But if you don't clean up your bounces after every campaign, when you go in to do this, it's overwhelming. The other thing that I always pay attention to are the blocks. If an email that I've been sending to someone is suddenly blocked, I might reach out and go, hey, did you mean to block it? Because you didn't unsubscribe. Is it just you have higher security protocols? And if that's the case, would you please whitelist me? Okay, that's it for metrics for today. It's a Friday afternoon. Nobody needs a lot of numbers. So thanks so much for joining me. And a quick reminder, our full series on email marketing starts on November 11th. Now's a great time to register. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time. Josh, thanks for hopping in. Would love to get some feedback on what you thought of the program.